All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our conversation today. We're going to be discussing all things about artificial intelligence, AI, how you can use it to improve your business or operations. We're going to go into quite a few things here, and it should be a really great conversation and really helpful for each of us to learn a little bit more about this new thing and how we can utilize it a little bit better. So, just a reminder, this is being recorded. Of course, we'll send it out afterward. You'll have access to watch it after. But if you have any questions or comments during the webinar live today, drop them in the chat and Q&A on the right-hand section. We'll make this as interactive as possible. We've got Gil here as a resource, so let's use him as a resource and ask him the questions while we have him. I'm just going to jump right in. Lately, I've been diving into, all things AI news and developments, but I wanted to bring on someone who is well-versed in this information. So we brought in Gil Valerio. He is the CEO at Elevate Marketing Solutions, a company whose goal is to really take the marketing completely off of your hands as a small business, as a practice, so that you can focus on your specialty and serving your patients, giving them a great experience. So Gil and his company have worked with over 600 health and wellness offices or practices. He's very familiar with this, and they've found ways recently to integrate AI into their efforts as well. So, we've got him on. He's a great resource. Welcome, Gil.
Yeah, awesome, Dale. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here and provide as much value as I possibly can.
Great. Well, let's dive in. We're going to cover a lot today. So everyone has been hearing about AI the last few months, right? It's been in the news. It's been on social media. It's been everywhere. It feels like I see something new about it every single day. Why have we primarily been hearing about it so much these last few months, as opposed to before? What's changing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest milestone was, the release of ChatGPT to the public. There was initial buzz when that happened. And then when people, started actually diving in and checking it out, I think they were blown away and amazed and maybe a little bit scared at the technology. I'll just I try to tie everything for those that might listen to this that haven't, had the ability to either incorporate AI into their business or their lives, or haven't played around with ChatGPT. I'll just try to give this example really quick of one of the ways that we used it that is, almost scary. On the back end, we have a nurture sequence that we obviously set up for a lot of our clients to make life easier when we're generating leads, to ensure people are booking appointments and walking through the doors. And that's typically done through, a basic automation process or human interaction. We were able to take both of those, just to shorten this, we were able to take both of those, the automation part and the human part, and incorporate them by integrating ChatGPT into our nurture sequence. We were able to train it with a command prompt that we can continue to improve upon. We were able to build a knowledge base so that it understood and had something to reference based on the client's business. And then we built an emulator where we were able to converse with it in real time. And every time it said something silly or off base, we were able to adjust it, correct it, so that the next time something similar is said, it improves upon that. And in a 2-week period, we outperformed a system it took us 3 years to build. So there's more to it than that. But just to understand how amazing it is, 2 weeks integrating it, we outperformed something that we took 2 to 3 years to build, right? And I'm talking a team of 40 people, and a team of 3 of us did this by integrating ChatGPT. That's just the tip of the iceberg and one example that I could share, but it's crazy what's coming.
Yeah, it's so crazy because it's almost a never ending cycle, right? It's this technology that learns and innovates and gets better. Like you mentioned, you can, help tailor it to be better the next response and the next response. And it's so cool because like you said, what took 3 years, you can essentially do in 2 weeks. It's wild. It's exponentially, everything goes faster now from here.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's already, those that have researched ChatGPT, it's sourced the internet, the entire internet, not parts of the internet, not certain sites. It's sourced the entire internet. I think it was up until, I could be off on the date, but I think it was March 2021 or something like that. And it can reference that in whatever ways you're integrating it and leveraging it in your business or in your personal life. I mean, that's more information than any single person or any book or any team or any operation has on hand available for you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Gone are the days of memorizing an encyclopedia, right?
Yeah.
Now you
Yeah.
have that who has memorized all of them and
Yeah.
you have all the information at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah.
Um, for anyone, if anyone's less familiar with AI and artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is one that was created, and there are so many others out there. OpenAI, there's a ton of different things coming out there. But when we reference that, that's what we're talking about. It's a specific thing. Um, in your experience, what are some of you mentioned you've been implementing some AI into your guys' marketing efforts. So what are some of the key areas that, small businesses that these practices can utilize or improve and enhance with AI right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most powerful ones is the ability to copyright. So if you're a small business, email nurture campaigns, database reactivation, organic content and social media, probably are or should be, if they're not, a part of your business and a part of your lead generation and a part of building value in your communities. And traditionally, in order to do that at a high level and make it impactful and make it connect with audiences, you had to either be good at it yourself, you had to have somebody internally that had the ability to copyright and organize, or you had to go out and hire a third party. Now, with understanding how you can put certain prompts in or leverage certain tools, like you could go do all that yourself, right? Or you could do it with one team member, and you can do it at a pretty high level. And I hate to play doomsday with this or scare people with it, right? But facts are facts and reality is reality. Copywriters are still important, right? Because I think copywriters have the ability to review and understand copy and then alter it while using AI so they can move faster and perform at a higher level. But basic copywriting, in order to just, put out email sequences to inactive patients or inactive clients, you can do that very simply yourself as a practice owner, as a business owner, or as, an employee inside of a practice. So I think the copywriting aspect of it is amazing and limitless with what we're going to be able to do. But that's kind of just like level one, right? There's going to be multimedia incorporated. There already is, different sites that you can edit video, you can edit presentations or develop presentations with AI support. So I think that part of the technology is going to continue to improve, but the most powerful way I would advise dentists, doctors, chiropractors, local businesses in general to leverage it is to go generate high quality copy and then leverage that through email, social media, organic posting, and different channels.
Yeah, it's a great call out because before you could spend 30 to 60 minutes thinking of this copy and this email that you're going to send out, and then another 30 or 60 minutes revising and tweaking and saying, oh, maybe I need a different way. Now you can, what maybe took 1 to 2 hours before, you can do in essentially 5 or 6 minutes. You can create that, quickly go through and edit it, get it out the door. Now you've saved yourself an hour and a half to go do what you need to do with your patients. It really is. It's amazing. All the many things, and that's, like you said, one example, but there's so many different applications for things around your business and your operations that you can do with AI to save so much time, save so much money, and enhance it that way. Love that.
Yeah. And I think something really important when talking about this is that one thing that when I first started to leverage, different AI tools, one of my concerns was, I was not going to be able to capture my voice and my identity in my business, right? That's very important. Internally, we have a strong culture that we appreciate and we leverage. And, that was something I was worried about. I'm like, is this just going to be a robot talking for me? And over time, is this going to be, a false representation of me and my business? But I think one of the beautiful things is like, what you just shared is that you can still throw this together. It could be your thoughts and your ideas put onto paper and then put into a tool that can enhance and improve them and write them as if a high-level copywriter wrote them for you, right? Or designed a presentation for you or created a video for you. So it can still be your vision. It can still be your thoughts. It can still be the identity of you and your business, just faster, enhanced, maybe without having to spend all the money that you would necessarily have to spend to go out and hire professionals. So that blows me away as much as the technology in itself, is that I don't have to lose myself in it. I can use it as a tool and not like let it use me, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a common thing, right? People, it's exciting and cool what's happening, but there is a lot of, questions around, hey, is this right for me? Is it going to represent me well? And that's the nice thing, is that, you have that control over it, and you can even, like Gil mentioned earlier, you can train it a little bit so that the next response is even better. And you can do that with, your writing style and your voice and things. If you go a little deeper, you can do all these things and help it and get it to a point where you want it to be for you. One thing, I'm going to call out someone, Christina mentioned in the chat here. So one concern I have with using AI for review responses, which you're right, Christina, we just recently announced that we've built AI into our product now to help you improve your efficiency to respond and manage reviews. But her concern is that Google is going to be able to detect review replies that have used AI using some sort of algorithm or something. Google's smart. They'll try to build something, maybe. I think that's Christina's concern, and maybe downgrade and penalize those types of responses versus organic responses. Do you have any thoughts on that, Gil? Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, that is a genuine concern, and that there's probably a lot of truth to that. I guess this is bigger picture thinking for me. Those that find ways to leverage the technology at the highest level while still being authentic and providing value-based content are going to reap the most benefit from it. Those that try to take a shortcut, and I'm assuming Christina's talking about GMB, Google My Business reviews, or leveraging it in, some sense there. Those that just try to use it as a shortcut to just, build a reputation or become a content marketer or become a copywriter or do digital marketing and just skip the process of understanding the business and making it real and making it authentic and really connecting with your clients and your patients and your community or whatever it may be, like they probably will get penalized by Google and others over time. Yeah. And in my opinion, they kind of should, right? It's not, again, it's a tool that should be used to enhance your business and you and what you're already good at. And it will eliminate some job positions, if I'm being real. But if my personal belief right here, I don't have all the answers, but my personal belief, if you believe that it's going to skip the process of being an entrepreneur and grinding and struggling and learning and going through all those things, and it's going to fast track you to having a strong online reputation and doing things that somebody who invested 10 years in a business, I don't think that'll be the case. I think there will always be those that have the general understanding and the resources behind it that they've built through hard work that can use it and leverage it better than those that just try to use it as a hack, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Because if you are using it as to just do all the work for you, and you're not actually going through and checking what it's doing or anything like that, you'll probably run into some issues. Now back to Christina's example, specifically with Weave Response Assistant, we recently announced that, and it's working. When I first saw it, I was so pleased. It's really awesome. How it's meant to work is that, it can generate an initial response for you to respond to a review with the context of whatever the review is. It does not automatically send that. You review that response, you change it, you edit it, you update it however you like, and then you send that review. So it's not something where you're saying, hey, this response assistant is now going to just do all my reviews for me. That's where you would start to run into trouble if you did something like that. But this is a tool to help you improve your efficiency, save some time in responding to those reviews. Because, as we all know, as small business owners, a lot of the reviews are very similar and a lot of them are very simple, but you want to respond, you want to engage there. And so this helps you save time. But yes, Christina, it's a great concern, and you do have full control over adjusting, editing, and then you actually send it.
Yeah. And just let me give one example. If you don't mind, Dale, let me just give one quick example of that. So, I haven't had the opportunity to use or check out Weave. I'm going to definitely check it out after we jump off here. But if it's doing from beginning to end, the response, the posting and everything and putting it up, that's one thing, right? If it takes an understanding of what the general review that you get and the responses are, and it fills all that out and it sends it to somebody who can quickly review and then boom, 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 and post them. That's an example of leveraging AI and leveraging technology to move quicker and more efficiently without like completely cheating the system. You know what I'm saying? Like just letting it do everything for you and having no involvement at all. So
Definitely.
Or you're the one responsible for training it on how to respond. So there's still, again, an element of you and your business and your understanding behind it. So
yeah. And that's how we look at AI, right? Like it is improving. It's a tool to improve and operationalize things. It's not a tool to replace your work, essentially, right? Like we talked about. So
yeah.
I think that's the right direction. Is we want this to help us and to improve us, not to replace us. Okay. I'm going to go in, we got a couple questions rolling in, so we're just going to go with this. My next question was going to be around some specific AI tools as well that people may not, be aware of. I feel like everybody has heard of ChatGPT, but outside of that, are there any AI tools that can be used for efficiency in dentistry when it comes to scheduling appointments or conducting all those behind the stage tasks?
Yeah. So one of them, and I think this is 2 steps removed, but again, I'm speaking from a marketing person's perspective. So Go High Level is a universal tool that most marketing agencies use. And whether you know it or not, as a dentist or as a chiropractor or as a physical therapist or a fitness center, you're probably using it in some form or another through the marketing company that you're working with. Most marketing companies are white labeling that technology. So if the marketing agency that you're working with has found ways to leverage and integrate AI technology into the backend nurture and CRM that they're providing you through Go High Level, or if you figure that out directly, then that's something that can benefit you, as a dentist in a wide variety of ways. So again, I'm going to give like the example that I kind of shared earlier is that taking AI and training it, whether it's ChatGPT or another AI tool, on the ability to nurture and have conversations with all of your people at, following a specific cadence, doing it effectively, doing it efficiently, and never dropping the ball, right? As humans, we do, right? We have other responsibilities. You might have an office manager that forgets to do the follow-up in the sequence or cadence or time that you want them to. So if you can train the tool that's integrated into Go High Level in order to do all the nurture sequence at the highest level, understanding your business and what to say and having, high level conversations with people, that's huge, right? I mean, it eliminates the need for people to follow up. And again, it can do it better and outperform. So that's just kind of one example. And I saw a question come in about HIPAA compliance and what, again, ChatGPT as a reference understands, it passed the bar exam, right? It passed the bar exam. So it understands HIPAA compliance. So as long as you're coaching it and you're training it, you're prompting it to only respond under HIPAA in a HIPAA compliance manner and not say anything that violates HIPAA, it can follow that. It understands it.
Yeah, definitely. And for anyone who doesn't know, I'm aware of that. I saw that news, but yeah, someone threw, the bar exam at ChatGPT and it passed it with flying colors. It sailed through it. It was totally fine.
Yeah.
So it's very smart and it can be tailored. A lot of it is around how you ask questions and how you ask it to do things. So if you're asking it specifically to utilize it with a HIPAA compliance aspect, then it's going to be able to help you with that.
Yeah. And so, just to maybe more specifically to answer that question is like, we created a guide for health and wellness based businesses, chiropractors, doctors, dentists, whatever. And we gave away, like, I think it's like 15 prompts that businesses can use to go in and build systems and generate more leads starting today. Very easy. They can literally copy, paste them. They could put their business name in and it'll give them things like organic posts and ways to run live Facebook videos to get engagements, even things that you can do, even posts that you can put up for engagement in Facebook groups that you run in your local market. So the big question is, it can be used for everything. Like if you're in a business where you need to generate leads to get new patients, you can use it for all of that. Right. And if anybody, wants our guide, it's free. It's copy and paste. They can go check us out on our website or whatever. You can literally just claim it and download it. But you could also just do a Google search on the best prompts for dentists and find a million of them on how to generate leads. So,
Yeah. There's so many resources out there now, right? I'm gonna put your website there in the chat if anyone wants to head there and find that resource.
Cool.
Um, I think it really is so cool. There's so many things, but how can these small business owners, these practice owners, and their staff with limited technical knowledge, how can they really get started with AI? Of course, I would say, from a Weave perspective, I would say start utilizing Response Assistant for your reviews, because that is one of the simplest applications of AI and easiest ways to kind of test the waters and get into it. But for everyone else, how can people start into that world? It can seem like a pretty big curb to step up to.
Yeah, part of the reason I developed that free guide with Chat GPT prompts is not to like give you something that's going to revolutionize your business. You could find the prompts anywhere, right? It's to encourage people to go play with the tool. And there's no easy or nice way for me to say this. If you don't use it and you don't figure it out, you are going to get left behind. This is like the internet, right? Like what would we, if we could rewind back in time to when the internet was started, what would you tell people who, about the internet? Like, would you say, oh, like, go read this one book and then never worry about it and never use the internet? No, you'd say, go use the internet because this thing is going to change the world, right? My response is that AI is going to change the world and change the way that we operate. You have to go use it and you have to understand it at least at some level, or have team members that understand it at some level, because it will give you an advantage, not only in your business by making you more efficient, but man, even in your personal life, there's ways to use it. Right. And we're just at the very start right now, right? We're on ChatGPT 4, right? And I know we keep referencing ChatGPT, but we're on version 4. What happens, Dale, when we're on 100? What's it going to look like then? It's going to be crazy. Right. So there's not a way I could, tell you just like, oh, like do this one thing and you're going to have enough. Like you have to go use it. You have to understand it. None of us are going to be able to stop it. So if it scares you and if it's against whatever your beliefs are or something like that, none of us at this point are going to be able to stop it. So, my philosophy is that I'm going to adopt it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to use it. I'm going to leverage it for my clients, myself, my business.
Yeah. And it's exactly what you said. When the internet was first being built and kind of happening, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, this is going to be gone. This is nothing, like it's never going to do anything. We don't need to worry about it. And there's some people like that now, but I feel the same way with AI. It really is changing the game for everything. And that ball's rolling. You and I can't stop it. It's going to happen. Learn how to utilize it and to be able to make the most of it. And like you mentioned, there's so many personal side of things and business side of things, applications things that you can do. I've created a monthly meal plan for my family from ideas from ChatGPT, or a workout plan, or even like a personal like reading plan. I want to get better at reading. So a plan to build it out and help me to get better at that. Lots of personal applications as well as these business side applications. You can use it. If you can think of it, you can probably use AI for it.
Absolutely.
So what you mentioned as well is, it can be a big scary thing, and it may be against some people's, what they think it may be right or anything like that. So that brings up an interesting question around, the ethics and the responsibility of using AI. Do you have any thoughts around that if someone has that concern?
Yeah. I think about this a lot, right? Because even the ability to write emails, to post content, to engage, you could almost portray yourself as a higher intellect, more experienced individual than you really are. I don't know this for sure, obviously, but I do think that, and then just to stop myself before I get into my thought, my thought was like, well, if you're creating video content, recording yourself and putting stuff out there, and if all of your copy is at a high level, but you can't articulate and speak and interact at a high level, that's going to be apparent, right? But there's going to be there already is AI technology that's being built where, you can emulate a human on Zoom and, or in a video ad or something like that. So 10, 20 years from now, you might have an avatar that can go speak for you on video. I don't know. I don't really know where I draw the line. I think that, again, we can't stop it. And I hope that human interaction isn't impacted and we still have to do business with people and interact. And that's where we get a true sense and really connect with people. But can some of that be replaced? You know, I mean, you hear crazy things about metaverse and how people are using that and disconnecting from humans. I guess what I hope is that, again, as like a human race, we find ways to leverage it to be better, to make the world a better place, to enhance technology, to make life more convenient, but not to the point to where it does the opposite, which disconnects us. There's always that opportunity, you know, games and Facebook and that can happen. So, you know, maybe I guess the answer is that the powers that be that are controlling it, maybe they will guide and use it in ways that are for good and not, you know, don't cause moral dilemmas.
Sure. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, with most any technology, it depends on how people use it. Like you can use it in a good way and you can also use it in a bad way. So it's on each of us to make sure that we're utilizing it in the right way, you know, that we feel, and making sure you do it at a level that, you know, you're comfortable with, and taking it at your own speed there as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've got like 3-4 minutes left here. So I want to, if anyone has any questions, throw them in the chat or the Q&A there. We'll go through them kind of rapid fire here. You know, while you've got Gil here, utilize him and answer any questions you may have. While we're waiting for any of those to come in, I think if you're thinking, you know, AI wish list, what is down the road, 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it is, what do you think is maybe coming for AI? What's one of the craziest, coolest things that could come from AI? Any thoughts there?
I mean, I just think we kind of touched on, and I think this is still I'm thinking too small here, but I think like we do a lot of advertising, right? Digital advertising for ourselves and our clients, right? And it's time consuming and it's tedious and it's uncomfortable and people have to record stuff and we have to edit and chop it up because they're not great on video or they messed up or something like that. Imagine the ability to go into a tool. I mean, there's Pictory.ai if you guys want to check it out. It's Pictory.ai. This is like the tip of what I'm talking about. But imagine the ability to go into a tool to create an avatar, a nice handsome guy or a nice pretty girl, right? That can speak and say whatever you want in a very articulate manner, powerful conviction behind it, can, you know, articulate an offer, sell your business, and do that regularly and pump out content on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram organically, as well as paid advertising, right? What like this relates to my business. So my mind goes, what does that do to the to the competitive digital ad world when everybody can have high level content? Or you can just source, you can source AI and say something like, give me the highest performing format for, dentist. What's the strongest offer statistically speaking? How long should the video be? What should the target audience be to generate the most amount of appointments to get people to walk through the doors of my practice, right? Like, what happens there if everybody can do that in an instant? So that is something that I think absolutely is coming. You're going to be able to source data analytics. You're going to be able to get feedback on what the highest performing content is. And then you're going to be able to create it maybe without a person, right? And then you're going to be able to use it through digital ads. Like crazy. I don't know.
Right.
It's coming.
Yeah. And who knows, that could be it down the road. I think, it kind of references Steven's question here. Could that eventually affect client service reps that need to speak with clients directly? And, could that replace them altogether? Down the road, who knows? Potentially the technology may be there. But right now,
sales reps, customer service reps. I mean, if you have a knowledge base of the perfect response and they can respond perfectly every single time, whether it's via video chat or phone call or SMS, they never miss. They never are tired or have an off day or stressed out, and they're managing relationships at a high level. Like, yeah, crazy.
Right. Yeah. And I think that goes back to the point of why you need to, utilize this tool now so that you learn with it and, you're kind of level with it there, and you make yourself indispensable because you're a resource and you're a tool with this information as well. Steven, that's a great question. Great call out.
Yeah.
Any other questions, throw them in the chat and Q&A right here.
Yeah. And I just want to say while we're waiting, like, first of all, thank you, Teresa, for that comment. But that is one of the things that scares me the most is like, I know my journey and the hardship and the struggles that I had to go through to get where I am today. And I think, not only would it be unfair, maybe in a business ethical standpoint, but I believe if AI allows people to skip that process, they're robbing them of the beautiful journey that entrepreneurship is, right? Like part of the struggles and the challenges and the tenacity and fighting through the things that I had to go through and figuring them out is part of the beauty of having some success on the other end. So I don't want AI to take that from people, not just because it's unfair or something like that. It's robbing them of the beauty of that journey and learning. That scares me the most.
Yeah, definitely. You know, relationships are important. People interaction is important. People buy from people. Whatever you're selling, whether it's a product, a service, anything, people buy from people. We can utilize AI to help us, you know, create awareness and get people knowing who we are and bring them in and nurture them in all kinds of different things. But when it comes down to it, you know, people buy from people. So don't forget that element. Everything will not be lost to AI. It's a tool there to help us enhance and improve our operations in our business. All right. You know, we're out of time here, so we're going to go ahead and close. If you do have any other questions, throw them in. We may have, we got a straggler here. We have a dental office of 15 people, says Gail. What would be our first step to understand AI and start using it?
Yeah.
You know, from the Weave side, Gail, I would just say, you know, if you currently use Weave, check out Response Assistant. If you don't, you can click the button at the top, Request Weave Demo, and we can walk through it with you and show you how it works if that's something you're interested in. And from Gil's side, you know, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, go, you know, get our our free guide and go register for ChatGPT. It's free, right? Just as like a step in and start giving it command prompts and playing around with it. You literally could even do it in a fun manner. Like I was joking around with my wife and I was like, give me 20 great date ideas, you know, to keep our marriage fun, you know? So I just think like, go play around with it and see what its capabilities are, because it almost inevitably all the time will lead to more curiosity. And I think like once you kind of dive into that world, you're going to want to understand and know more, and you're going to look for other ways that you can leverage it. So it's like, I don't want to overwhelm people. Just get started. It's like a fitness routine, like, right. Just go to the gym, start out, see what you can learn and see what you can figure out. And then really like leverage whatever you can from that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Pictory AI, Megan, Pictory.ai is something we use for really video editing. It's pretty cool. Takes out all the ums and the ahs and yeah, pretty instantaneously. It's crazy.
Cool. I'll put that, you know, there's the link in the chat there. Steven, your question, if we are using Weave now, is this accessible to us already? Yes, it's currently accessible to all of our customers. You can find it in there. If you're having any trouble finding it or accessing it, go ahead. You can either call or chat into our support team and they'll be able to get you resolved real fast. Tiffany just asked in real time here, ChatGPT to write an appeal for a dental bridge tooth number 2224. And the response was interesting, but very incorrect information. So that brings up a good point. You know, I've seen a couple wrong responses from AI before on my side as well. What do we do and how much can we trust the AI responses there?
The best advice that I've ever got is to speak to it like a person. So I would like after you put something in and it does something or says something that maybe isn't accurate, like give it another command prompt and another command prompt. The beautiful thing is that it's all in threads, right? So it understands what you asked previously, and then you could expand upon that. You know, think about it. If like you hired somebody and you asked them to do a task and they went and did the task wrong, you wouldn't be like, oh, this person's broke. They don't know what to do, right? You would sit down with them and say, hey, here's the things that maybe where you made a mistake. Here's what you don't understand. And then here's how you can correct that. Right. And it will improve upon that. So it's the same way that command prompt that I alluded to earlier. We created a base command prompt to train it as a clinical assistant for a chiropractor. And while it wasn't perfect initially, we've expanded upon that from, you know, starting a few weeks ago and improved the training or the command prompt that we're giving it.
Yeah.
Tiffany,
so that's exactly right.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
So yes, it does get better. It improves. It's constantly learning. And they're constantly making updates specifically to ChatGPT and all the other softwares outside of ChatGPT for AI as well.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. Thanks for coming on, Gil. Tons of great information and lots of great starting points for our listeners here. I think if there's one thing, maybe you can, one tidbit you can leave with people that they can utilize, you know, even starting today in reference to AI, what would you leave them with?
If it's some tactical advice that you want, I would, if you're a dentist or a chiropractor, like some way to tactically implement this immediately. The simplest thing that I've saw is just like, if you're using Constant Contact or some type of email marketing tool, go have it create all your email marketing sequences for 30 days, or at least generate the ideas for you. That's something you can implement immediately. And, I don't want to like, be repetitive here, but the one biggest piece of advice I could give is just use the technology, do some searches. There's some really cool stuff out there. And it's not even because I'm some big advocate of AI. And, it's just that I don't want business owners to get left behind, especially those that have worked really hard to get to where they are. I don't want somebody, to start up, tomorrow and bypass them because they're leveraging technology. I want those that have the core principles already built to leverage it to get better. So just start using it, dive in. A lot of cool things that you could do.
Yeah. Excellent. And if you don't believe that any of your competitors are utilizing AI, you're probably wrong, and they're going to start going pretty fast. So check it out, get into it. Thanks for coming on, Gil. We really appreciate it. Everyone, like I mentioned, if you are interested in Response Assistant, whether current Weave customer or not, you can click that button and request Weave demo at the top, and we'll get you situated there. Go check out Gil's website as well, goelevatemarketing.com. He's got, that list of prompts there and so many other things. They can really, if you're looking for something on that route, they can take all of the marketing things, including some of this AI stuff, off your plate so you can focus on providing a good patient experience.
Absolutely. Thanks, Del.
Okay. I think that wraps us for today. Gil, we'll see you next time.
Cool. Bye. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.